Well, Tracy, we will revel in our online community and remember that you are in Hawaii drawing Kona coffee. Now, I understand that the label for this coffee is important to you, but I would like you to take a look at what I wrote to Craig in the early drafts review. Try to let go of the text. Even look at the Edwards book and observe that while some of the art supplies that are pictured in the drawn illustrations are name brand ones, you can't read the name. Now, here, this is a lovely arrangement. The reflective bag, you see it's green, is quite beautiful. I would shy from backlighting for future or for anybody else, but it seems like this is already underway. Perhaps think of something that could go on the upper right in the area there. Maybe it's going to be a subtle shadow. Also, check the bottom edge of your cup. Hi, Gretchen. I'm glad to see your draft here. Listen in to what I had to say to Tracy and also check out what I wrote to Craig. It's funny, this is like a lineup of different characters with name badges on them or something. Try to let the form of the bottle and the can take precedence. Also, I would suggest that you use horizontal strokes for your shadowing with a cast shadow there on the ground. That's going to make the ground surface seem more flat. Also, wouldn't be bad to have a horizon line and some hint of something going on in the upper region of the composition would be good. Nice drawing of the can, for instance, which is a little bit complex to portray. Adam, you amuse us with a little narrative here, which is a very clever way to arrange a still life. It seems as though this Chinese cat is about to play the video game. The controller is beautifully drawn. It seems as though your proportion's right on that. I wonder whether the cat could be a little bit larger just to make better use of the picture space. I know you've probably gauged their size in relation to one another. I would also suggest that the light come from the right so that you get shadows cast into the left area of the picture where things are a little more empty. Katie, this is a lovely theme there with your child's shoe and toy. Because one is sort of enclosed in the other, they operate like a single object, and I'd like to suggest to you that you add a second object. Perhaps if these things are indicative of childhood, you'd like to use something that contrasts, something that's indicative of adulthood, or maybe even a possession of a grandparent, something along those lines. I think your shading looks good. I'm trying to understand the ground plane. It would help to have a horizon. It would help us to know where ground is here. Hi, Margie. Thanks for giving this another try. When I start counting objects, I see quite a few, a bunch of grapes and some other large fruits. There aren't just two. Look at Melissa's drawing, for instance. She's just got 2 pears. She's making life easy for herself, So what I'd like you to do from here on this is to get a lamp shining on your still life. And I want you to work the shadowing so that the forms look round, okay? And it might be that because your arrangement is rather complex, that you'll create the look of dimensionality with the central larger fruits first. Now I want you to work at letting go of the outline, and I want you to work at drawing from your shoulder. Use your entire arm. I know that can be a little bit of a challenge on a small page of paper. Well, hi, Melissa. A lovely pair of pears. I like the way that they're nestled together. You are one ambitious person, because not only have you shown us the pears in their table, but the entire room in addition, which looks rather empty, by the way. I'm curious to hear the story on that. Now, I'm just guessing, but I wonder, is this a charcoal drawing or a combination of graphite and charcoal? Remember, now I don't want you to do this over if you use the wrong medium, but this one was meant to be a graphite drawing, and the next one can be either or. And I do discourage people from mixing the media. because it usually gets very messy. You know, when graphite goes on the page heavily, it makes a slick surface, and you know for charcoal to work best, it needs tooth, it needs texture to grab a hold of. Now, with the pears themselves, can the cast shadow at the very base of the fruit be darker? Hi Pat, it seems as though you've taken great care to arrange a simple still life for yourself. One thing I noticed that this looks rather small on the page, and I wonder, are you using scanner-sized paper? The assignment actually says that that would be a fine format. If you are using that, I see you're drawing really small, and for your next drawing, I want you to work larger, or perhaps you could even revise this composition. We want the drawing to be about the image rather than a small sort of diagram of the subject in the middle of the page. Now, I want you to be sure to work with a light source and consider the cast shadow. If the bottle's reflective, that's going to add a factor. I want you to look at the liquid level of the liquid in the bottle and the glass and give us a little more suggestion of surroundings. Well, Debbie, your work made me think of the work of William Bailey. He often pictures eggs in his still life paintings and drawings. He was once a professor of mine way back when I was in graduate school. He actually makes a good artist to study in light of our projects with still lives generally. Now, I think you made a little complaint about the gray paper, and I wanted to say something on that topic. Now, tinted papers can be very nice with charcoal. It's a way to have a little bit of color, a little bit of value on the page. I don't usually choose them for graphite drawing. And I would say if you've got a sketchbook with paper that's about 8.5 by 11, you might prefer to use white paper from a sketchbook for this type of drawing that you'll want to scan in. Not that I want you to buy another book. I think that with a supply list, the idea was economy, so they thought, all right, we'll have them get one pad of charcoal paper and one pad of newsprint, and between the two, there'll be a sort of paper for just about any project. Well, I'd say that newsprint is too flimsy of a paper for graphite, and I see what you're saying about drawing with gray on gray. So now, to your drawing. I'm looking at the shadows the eggs cast, and I wonder whether they could be nuanced a little bit more. Because the shadow is lush and dark, the cast shadow, it's giving the effect that the eggs might be hovering. Also, I want you to try and carve the shape of the egg so that it's very geometric looking. You can use a small eraser on the end of a yellow pencil. And then another matter to consider is the bowl. It might be a handmade bowl, I'm not sure. But I'd say maybe you want to work at perfecting the ellipse. Once more, thinking about the geometry. I like the subtle cast shadow that the bowl itself makes. I'm wondering about the horizon. It seems very general. You know, with an interior view, we have a lot of architecture, and things are usually neat and regular. The edge of the table is straight. The place where the floor meets the wall is a straight line. Hi, LaShawn. I appreciate the energy that you throw into your drawings time and again. You know, looking at this and maybe also at Debbie's, I am wondering if you're working in charcoal. Now, the specified medium in the assignment is graphite, and I reiterated that in the assignment. So for future, I want you to pay close attention. No need to redo your drawing if you started in the wrong medium, but for future, be sure to get it right. I really do like this candle in the form of a shell. It suggests an hourglass in a way. I like the way that the curve of the bowl just kind of wraps around the point of the shell and how the point of the shell lines up with its stand below. A lot of nice shapes there. It seems as though the bowl is wanting more sculpting, if you will, more lights and darks on the bowl itself. And if you can't see them, maybe increase the light.